And this week's talking about orcs, we're going over Ghazghull Thraka, the new one from Saga the Beast, to replace the rules in the Codex. So Ghazghull Thraka is a single model, and of course you can only have one in an army. He's equipped with Mork's Roar, Gork's Claw, and Stick Bombs. He's Movement Star, which is 765, and he doesn't go down to bottom tier, he has just 1 or 2 wounds left. Weapon skill 2, ballistic skill 5. Strength is also a star, which is 765. And toughness 7, 12 wounds, unfortunately, which means he can be picked out. Attacks are 5, 6, 7, so he actually gets more attacks as he gets wounded. Leadership 8, which is really good for mod rule, and a 2+ save. Mork's Roar is 36-inch range, assault 12, strength 5, -1, 1 damage. Not too shabby. Gork's Claw is melee, strength ×2, -4, and 4 damage, which is pretty good as well. And of course, we all know what stick bombs are. So he has Irigo, Mob Roll, and Daka, just like everything else. Great Wall. Friendly orc infantry units within 6 inches of this model can be chosen to fight with even if they advance this turn. Can be chosen to charge with even if they advance this turn. So that's all orcs, regardless of clan. In addition, add 1 to their attack characteristics of friendly models and friendly orc infantry units that are whilst they're within 6 inches of this model if they unit made a charges move. So it's pretty much the same rule as before. Just remember when you do make your charge moves, you kind of have to hang somebody back in a conga line if Ghazghull's not in combat himself to get that bonus. The boss is watching, pretty standard boss is watching rule. Prophet of Gork and Mark. This model has a 4 up and vulnerable save. In addition, this model can only lose a maximum of 4 wounds each phase. And this is the rule that has a lot of people just going absolutely mad for what apparently how completely overpowered it is. Well, it's each phase, so that's Overwatch and Charge both, and Fight phase both. So what that means is basically as long as you have 9 wounds left when you make at the beginning of a fight phase, he can't die that charge phase or that fight phase, that combat phase at all. Because you might lose 4 in Overwatch and you might lose 4 in the fight phase, but that's all you could lose. And even your chances of losing wounds isn't that great with a 2 up 4 invul. So yeah, he's going to be pretty hard to kill, despite being able to be picked out and another flaw coming up here. Goff's is the best. Reroll hits of 1 for attacks made with melee weapons by models in friendly Goff orc units while stay within 6 inches of this model. Now, unlike the other rules, which specifically state infantry, this is just Goths. And if you add in a war banner, of course, so things are hitting on 2s. So now you're hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s for everything within 6 inches. And again, it's just orc units within, so as long as you have 1 model stringed back to this guy, or a conga line back to this guy, you'll get that benefit. It doesn't have to be wholly within, just within. So conga lines back to Gaz to get the extra attack, and reroll 1s could make Goff armies pretty scary, especially when you're talking Scar Boys. And the Grand War Boss. This model can be included in an orc detachment without preventing other units from that detachment from gaining a clan culture. Note, however, this model does not benefit from any clan culture unless the clan culture selected for that detachment is the Goff clan culture. So that's a nice little bonus where you can put him in anything. You can take him no matter what you play. And so he's Orc, Goff, Character, Monster, War Boss, and Ghazghull Thraka. That's where really the only downside to him is that he's a monster and not infantry. I mean, if that was the one thing that I would change, it would be that. Because if he was infantry, because lacking the infantry keyword means he doesn't get his own Great Wall bonuses, so he can't charge and so he can't advance and charge himself. He doesn't get the extra attack when he's charging because he's not infantry. So he can't benefit himself except for the reroll 1s. He does get to reroll 1s in combat himself. And of course you can't Grot Shield him, which I would assume was quite intentional. Because he was infantry, you could Grot Shield him, and I'm pretty sure that was a calculated move on by the rules writers. You can't jump him, which again is probably quite intentional. And what's the other one that you can't do? Oh, I can't remember what it's called, but the stratagem where you get to fight again for three command points. That was also only infantry. He can fight again if he dies. You can use that stratagem because he's a character, but he is not an infantry, so you can't use the normal one where he just gets to fight twice automatically. So there are some downsides to him, and he comes in at 285 points. So is he worth it? Well, that's going to be very much time will tell kind of thing. A lot of people are going to play him. A lot of people are going to pick up the model. Well, eventually they're going to have the model and get back into gaming, and we'll see how he does. Me, I'm definitely in the mixed category. I think his rules are good enough to play, and I don't think his price is too overwhelming. But I think the lack of the infantry keyword is really going to hurt more than it helps. But what can you do with him? Because he is still a character. Of course, you can still cast Fists of Mork on him, Fists of Gork, where he gets +2 attacks and +2 strength. So that would be on top tier, it would be 9 attacks, strength 9, or 7 attacks at strength 9, rerolling once. He can be healed by the Pain Boy stratagem, because that will affect any character. It doesn't have to be just infantry. So while you can't use Doc's tools on him normally, you can use a stratagem, which allows you to heal characters. If you use the Warlord trait, if you give him the Warlord, he'll have to take the Goth Warlord trait, which gives him an extra attack, which isn't too bad, and an extra AP to his weapon, which means he will now be AP -5. So there's no save that there's no non-invul save that can save against that if you use the Warlord. So just automatically giving one more attack isn't horrible, that's for sure. And that extra AP, it may be a little overkill for most things, but having a -5 AP is pretty big. And yeah, so I think the downsides to them are pretty significant. I do think the downsides were intentionally put in there versus the points cost, because if he was infantry, I think you'd have to be a lot more points. Because then I said you could just cross shield him and he could just march across the field with basic immunity and then just go in and just punch whatever you wanted to, again, with immunity. Being able to fight twice with this guy for 3 command points would be too much. Even just jumping this guy, if he was infantry, you could jump him and just mess with your opponent's back line just nonstop while everything else is moving into position. I mean, that would be incredibly powerful. And I think if he was infantry, he'd probably have to be at least another 50 points. But other than that, he's Ghazghull. He is definitely a beat stick, and he's definitely an orc leader. So I think the rules fit. I think the price is probably appropriate for what you get. But again, that's something we'll have to see as time goes on. So that's it for this episode of Talking About Orcs. And excited for the Ghazghull model? Are you excited to put him on the field? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching this episode of Talking About Orcs. Please subscribe and hit the bell button for notifications for new Talking About Orcs videos every Wednesday, new battle reports every Friday, and hobby videos whenever I can. Thanks for watching.